Groningen on the grandstand as well, of course supporting Lita Bonen from the Netherlands racing in one of those centre lanes.
Are they your favourites for this race?
Yes, Martin, they are. I would love them to get the gold medal.
Yeah, well, they're favourites, and I think probably they're Tim's favourites, and I think they might be the favourites. So Lithuania, Austria, the Netherlands, Denmark, Spain and Canada. So there we see the Lithuanian athletes there, Ulla Jonusaite and Ugna Rudinkaite, 20 years of age, from Tennessee and Michigan State, respectively. A lot of these athletes from American universities. There's the Austrians. We were talking about Lisa Zetmeyer and Laura Svoboda. Great to see an Austrian pair in the world final.
And here is the Netherlands with Elisabeth Bonen and Marg van der Wal in one of those favoured centre lanes.
Wow, they look really psyched up for this, don't they? Just Bonen just looking around the course there.
And here the Danish, also a very experienced combination of Clara Hornes and Frida Voldager in the bow seat.
So there's the Spanish combination up on the left of your picture, Naria Zubamendi, 22, and Amanda Gil Camacho, just 20 years of age. And on the outside lane, they'll be nearest us. We've got a camera from the start there, Kate Whittard in the bow seat, and Maylene Valquette, 21, in the stroke seat. One from University of Washington, Whittard, and Valquette from Tennessee, as many of these women are. Great program in Tennessee. This pair coached by Katie Steenman, who is partner to Mitchell Steenman, of course, you would know.
I do know, yes. And a quick start, the crews not long being called to attention, but we have the green light, the buzzer, and a clean start by all the crews here as we get those fantastic drone pictures here. Quick start, Martin, from lanes 1 and 2, Lithuania and Austria, quick off the mark. And the Netherlands going with them. Bonen and van der Wal, of course, race both Texas Longhorns, so they know each other very well, having trained and raced together all season, and they'll be looking to get a medal here. They haven't medaled at the under-19s or the under-23s just yet, but that might change today.
Yeah, and if you're watching Dave O'Neill, I know Dave does a fantastic job. You couldn't win the NCAAs this year. That was Yale, fantastic result from that program, but Dave O'Neill runs a tremendous program at Texas. I think they have something like 62 scholarships, I've heard, which is, I don't know if I've got that correct, but it's a pretty sensational program. And the two Texas Longhorns from the Netherlands look to be out in front at the moment.
Yeah, really getting into their stride. Small steering correction from the Dutch to keep that bow straight and true in their lane, and going with Denmark not far behind the Dutch, but the Dutch are leading in this first quarter, and that Lithuanian pair is also in the mix. And the other outside lane there, Martin, Canada, good start from them as well.
Yeah, and of course Canada have a fantastic women's program, don't they? It's quite striking the difference between where the Canadian men are and the Canadian women, because of course the Canadian women took that silver medal in the women's eights in the Paris Olympics behind Romania, and these two Canadians are in silver medal position at the moment. And a lot of their rowing, as we've said, are done in the American system at University of Washington, the Husky in the bow seat, and the volunteer, Milo Valquette from Tennessee, stroking that boat. Yeah. And at the moment, what are they doing up there, Tim? Because do they know that the Dutch are meant to be the favourites, and the Canadians, they haven't read the script, have they?
No, they've taken the script and chucked it in the bin. It's a fantastic opening 1K for the Canadians, and just a couple of feet down on the Dutch, who are leading, and the Lithuanians, Martin, also not following that script at the moment. Lithuania now in bronze medal position. The Canadians just 3 feet behind the Dutch, and keep a close eye on that Danish combination. We would have expected them to be closer to the front of this race, but they're a length down at 800 meters gone. You can see all these crews struggling a bit in these tailwind conditions to keep that pair running straight and through. You can see lots of small steering corrections here from the drone footage, but yeah, Canada looking great so far.
Yeah, they're really attacking this first part of the race. It is still the Dutch, as you can see, with a 1 meter lead over Canada. I'd say really with the pace that we saw from certainly the heats, in the 2 heats we saw it was Denmark first, then Spain, then Canada, and the Dutch beat the Austrians and the Lithuanians. But as you heard Tim say, the script's been ripped up by the Canadians. They have really stepped on, and fantastic job. They do have a Dutch coach in Casey Seaman, though. So
yeah, so that might be something, and so we can cheer for that as a Dutch supporter. But yeah, my money would still be on the combination of Van der Waal and Bone in these in the centre lane, lane number 3, as the field is well. To me, it looks like the field is closing up a bit, and the Dutch go for a massive turn of pace here. Big push from them.
That's beautiful. Do you think it makes a difference, Tim, that the Dutch, Meester and Cleverling, won that Olympic gold in Paris in the women's pair? And do you think these 2 Dutch women feel great because they're representing the Netherlands on the back of that?
Well, I'm sure it's an inspiration, and especially the way that Dutch women's pair of Cleveling and Meester raced, that has been an inspiration for many. And you can see a bit of that in the other crews, but well, the Dutch now really pushing on. Look at the Danes now coming back into it, Martin. We were expecting them to feature in this A final, of course also being part of that historic Danish Olympic Women's 8, the first Danish Olympic 8 in history. They are pushing on, currently in bronze medal position, but the Dutch still unable to shake off the rest of the field here, although they are one of the quickest boats out on the water.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great shout for the Danes, coached by Fredrik Tauberg. Hornes is a really good sculler, and Foldager, back in the day when she's only 19 now, but in 2023 she won the Danish Youth Rower of the Year. You can see those Danish blades, their bows are now in front of the Canadians. And I'll tell you what, the Austrians are coming into the picture as well. Look at the distance between the fight for the medals. There is less than 2 or 3 meters, Tim.
Yeah, the Danes are the quickest boat out on the water, putting the pressure on the Dutch, who have led more or less from the start. And we are in the final 500 meters, but you're perfectly right, Martin. The crew from Austria getting into the mix here. I feel like the Canadians are starting to struggle a bit. They're shortening up.
Yeah, and Kate Whittard, the 20-year-old Canadian from University of Washington, look across there. She looks across again, and I think she will see that the Austrians have put on a fantastic sprint. Of course, the Austrians, Lara Svoboda had an accident in January, injured her shoulder. 5 weeks later, she was back on the erg, put a new personal best in. And look what that's done to her. The Austrians are charging past, but the Canadians are trying to answer. The Dutch still in front. Where's this going, Tim?
Oh, the Dutch still have that cushion, Martin. We're inside the red buoys, so it's less than 250 meters to go. But I'm really impressed by that turn of pace by the Austrians. But Denmark also pushing up to 40 strokes a minute. But the Dutch still have that lead, Martin. It might just be enough for them.
So it's the Netherlands as they come past the scoreboard. I don't think anyone's going to touch them, barring accidents. The Austrians are really challenging the Danes for that silver medal position. The Canadians don't think they're out of it, but I think at the moment they're in 4th place. Coming up to the line, it is the Netherlands. Gold medal for them. In 2nd place, what a finish from the Austrians. And Denmark have to settle for bronze, but they seem to be delighted with that, the 2 Danes. Canada rode out of it, Tim.
Yeah, Canada fading in that last 500, but the Dutch are under 23 world champions in the pair. Fantastic performance by Elisabeth Bone and Mark van der Waal as we see them celebrating. and the relief on the faces. They must have been under so much pressure from the Danish and the Austrians.
And of course, coached by Jolin Vermelink, who has got so much experience. I think he's coached something like 6 under-23 medal crews in the past.
Yeah, there are loads of crews who have benefited from the experience of Remmelink. And here we see the official confirmation. The Netherlands take the win ahead of Austria for the silver, and Denmark take the bronze.